churches are doing the bees, budgets,
Mm.
buildings, bodies. They're just trying to keep attendance. They're investing everything into the Sunday morning experience. If they have this idea of smaller community, they might go into small groups. How does this change that approach?
Well, I can clearly say I don't have the answers to that, but I do have an observation or two. And that is that right here above my right ear, there's a little spot in my brain. Has no particular name, but it's well mapped out by neuroscientists. And unless that part of my brain is active, I won't change my views or opinions at all. And it gets active when I'm upset by something that doesn't add up for me. So the basic bottom line is, until your brain is upset, you won't change your point of view. People who are happy with the way things are working are not going to listen to anything else at all. But when things aren't working, and the interesting thing right now is, if you look at Christendom, maybe because it's 500 years since the Reformation or whatever else it might be, there's a bit of a meltdown going. The whole, the whole COVID thing, the whole church, the models that we're using are not working very well. And there's a huge number of people leaving the church. Refers to themselves often as the ones that are done, that we're done with this. There's children leaving the church in huge numbers. There's pastors burning out at outrageous rates. There's a lot of upset out there. And so people are now listening for, what is making a difference? Who are the people that are alive? Who are the people that are not, not afraid of our future? And part of this, just to say historically, over the last 50 years, we sort of set ourselves up for this in the evangelical world by talking about the late great planet Earth. There was a huge belief 40 years back that we were the last generation. And so investing into relationships in the future was a waste of time, because if we could just get the Bible translated and get everybody that we needed to make a decision real fast, that would bring back Jesus, and he'd do it before the year 2000. And of course, the date keeps shifting because he's not back. But all of a sudden we're saying, okay, what we've got now is not sustainable. And we have intentionally not been, as evangelicals, building anything sustainable for 40 years. So there's a crisis happening, and we can see the evidence of it all around. And so people are asking the question, is there more to it than that? And to me, the nice thing that brain science says is that human beings are essentially, from their brain on up, relational creatures who need to be part of a group identity that's greater than them and showing them who they really are. And our minds are designed to find a mind greater than us and copy from that our true identities. Now, does that have any overlap with what Christianity is about or what Jesus was talking about? And that's the dialogue I'm very interested in being in the middle of, because if so, our Christian church has not been doing that. We've been getting people to understand the basic beliefs and make some decisions, which even in the comments by such great evangelists as Billy Graham, very distressed by the fact that only 5 to 7% of the people that made decisions went around to show any kind of lasting transformation or even engagement. And the thing that really troubled him was, we've got to get better yield than that. So to be part of that discussion is to talk about what is actually changing your life. And the fun thing about talking about it from a neurological point of view is it's getting people interested in, I've never thought about how to get my brain involved in this change. I believe the right things, and that hasn't worked. I've tried to use willpower harder, and that's worked only poorly, and hasn't convinced my kids of anything. So is there actually something that would happen if we took the most powerful mechanism in the brain, which is attachment, to the people who give us life, that searches for a mind greater than ours. And if we implemented that as the way that we develop connections with each other and with God, and if that actually worked, how would we help each other do it better? And the people that I find most alive are the ones at this point that are engaged in that discussion. They seem to not be so bothered by the things that people disagree about.
What bothers them?
When we don't care, where there's no compassion, when we're not sharing life with other people, we're just trying to get results. That always distresses them. They've got all kinds of ways of explaining it. Some are social justice, some are deep discipleship people, some are holiness people. There's all kinds of different beliefs that go with that. But the distress comes from the fact that we're not sharing lives that are changing.